Hey there, Brittany here. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to let you know about a special online mini training that I'm offering for free for a limited time. It's called Peace, Love, Stepmom. And not to toot my own horn, but beep beep, it's pretty freaking awesome. Peace Love Stepmom will give you the exact steps to take in order to create more harmony in your stepfamily without feeling like you have to walk on eggshells or bite your tongue or ignore your own needs just to keep the peace. Because if you are listening to this, then chances are pretty good that you know there's a big difference between not fighting and actually feeling peaceful. To enroll in Peace Love Stepmom and get immediate access to this incredible online course, head to peacelovestepmom.com and sign up. It's totally free. You don't want to miss it. So go to peacelovestepmom.com to enroll and get immediate access. Now, on with the show. Where would you take your life if you knew you could not fail? I get it. As a stepmom, mom, and entrepreneur, sometimes it can feel like what everyone else expects of you versus what you dream about for yourself are on opposite ends of the spectrum. As a woman, you're taught from a very young age what society thinks you're worth based on how you look, how you behave, and how much money you're allowed to bring in. But I'm here to show you that you can be the woman who has it all, and not just on the outside. I'm Brittany Lynch, and you are the queen of your castle. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Queen of Your Castle podcast. I am your host, Brittany Lynch, and I have a very special guest today. The one and only Tammy J, Stepmom Goals, is here in the flesh to bless us with her beautiful wisdom and her incredible story. And buckle up because it's going to be a great episode. Tammy, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hi. So why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners, who are you? Where are you from? Who's in your step family? What do you love to do? Who is Tammy? Who is Stepmom Goals?
Yes. So, Tammy J. My family and I, we live a few minutes outside of Detroit, Michigan. My husband and I have been married for almost 8 years. But we've been together, maybe 10 years? When we met, he had a 2-year-old brown-eyed baby boy who just stole my heart. His name is RJ, and he is now 13. So I can't believe I am now a stepmom of a teenager. We also have a son named Tori, and he will be turning 4 years old in April. So we have 2 cats and a new puppy, Chrissy. And we are very blended and still trying to figure this thing out. Far as stepmom goes, it emerged from a place, I would say, of sadness, actually. At one point in time, I was lost in my stepmom journey. And with therapy, I was able to, shake it off, adjust my crown, and redirect myself in the journey that I know I was created to be in. And one day, one of my sorority sisters, I was venting to them, and she said, "Oh, your stepmommy goals, you're fine." And I'm like, "Stepmommy goals? That's cute," or whatever. So I was thinking like, oh, let me find a stepmom goals shirt. At that time I was obsessed with Pinterest. So everything is on Pinterest, right? So I could not find a stepmom shirt that I liked. So I'm like, well, create it. And just not with the shirt, just the idea of believing that I am stepmom goals. And I also have a stepmom bestie who I also talk to. And I enjoy listening to her, and I enjoy her listening to me and us brainstorming ways how for us to become better women. And I'm like, why don't I document or write about this? So I'm like, let me just start documenting my journey as a stepmom so I can help other stepmothers. And that's how Stepmom Goals came about.
And I'm so happy that it did.
Thank
I
you.
love everything about stepmom goals. I love the vibe.
Thank
Let's
you.
let's back up though, Tammy. When
Mm-hmm.
and I so many relatable things like my stepson is 13, my son Rory is
Mm-hmm.
3, he'll be 4 next year.
Oh my gosh.
Same ages. And Stephanie too was, born out of sadness and that kind of dark place that I feel that stepmoms can get into.
Yes.
So
Yes.
why don't we back up and talk about, when you fell in love, I'm sure you had some expectations about what it was
Mm-hmm.
going to look like to be in love with this person who had a child. And we all, I think, paint this image in our minds about what that's supposed to look like. But usually the reality turns out to
Yes.
be very different. So take us back
Yes.
in time, 10 years, and
Mm-hmm.
let us know, like, what did you think it was going to be like and what did it turn out to be?
Yes. You know what? I had no idea. One, I never thought I would date someone who had a child, but I was never against it. I know some women are like, I would never. I never really thought about it. I just didn't think about it. I just graduated from college, so I returned back home with my parents and my brother. So I still was in an area of my life trying to figure out things. And um, my husband and I actually met while I was an intern for a magazine here in Detroit. And since then, we just clicked. We started out as friends. And um, interesting fact, my husband is a brain cancer survivor. So, to add more to the story, I was mad at him because he had my fluffy earmuffs that I wanted back from him. And I couldn't get in touch with him, not knowing that he was in the hospital, waiting to be seen by a surgeon to remove the tumor. So ever since then, I've been by his side. Again, we were still friends. And then the romance just started budding, and my love for RJ started growing. And my love for Reggie's family. That's my husband's name, by the way. I don't know. Reggie. And we've been together ever since.
Mm.
Ever since.
I
Yes.
can't. That is such a funny story. Like he's got this thing of mine that I need right now. So
Yes.
it's so typical how instantly we just jump to that conclusion. Like they're ignoring me, they're blowing me off, right?
Yes.
Like how dare they? Da 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 da. But yeah,
Yes.
what a place for him to actually be waiting for
Yes.
surgery for a brain tumor.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just such a wild story.
Yes.
So after your romance started budding, you were
Mhm.
there as his support system as he was dealing with his brain cancer and
Yes.
growing closer with his family.
Yes.
Take us on that journey. What were kind of the places that you found that you had to fit into their life and
Mhm.
how did you grow together?
It was, I don't want to say it was easy, but I felt comfortable. His family took me in as if I was one of them. And they actually supported me in growing a relationship with RJ. My mother in law, his siblings, my husband's siblings helped. um, his family, entire family, my family, everyone was supportive, even our friends. They could see that I adored RJ and he liked me. So, when we were going dates, sometimes RJ came too, because uh, we knew somehow, I guess, we were becoming one unit, and I'm dating Reggie. So I need to get to know RJ as well. And he needs to get to know me. And we made it very clear that we see longevity in our relationship. So we need to take it serious and, make sure, RJ's comfortable around me, make sure I'm comfortable with the idea of dating someone with a child and then potentially, getting married. So it was an interesting journey. Not many hiccups. It was smooth, I would say. It really was.
Mm.
It's like RJ took me in.
And that's so lovely. That's usually, that sounds
Yeah.
to me, from all of the stepmoms I've talked to over the years, that's like best case scenario, right? That it
Mhm.
just is smooth and
Smooth.
lots of communication. Like, is everybody willing to accept each other? Supportive families makes all the difference in the whole entire
Yep.
world. What I
Hmm.
find interesting though is that even though it was so smooth, you still found yourself in a dark place with stepmomming. Can
Yes.
you talk to us about that?
Yes. So after we got married, I would say within the first year, that's when I started, I guess you would say, lose myself. I became the super stepmom. I was always on Pinterest trying to find different projects we could do together, um, different ways to make sure that RJ felt included. Because at that time, he was going back and forth within our house and his mother's house every other week. That's draining on a young child. At that time, he was about 6, 7 years old. So I started to see a shift in his behavior. And instead of doing a heart check and not taking it personal, I did.
Mm.
So I started to just become more afraid of failing as a stepmom. I was the one who was always posting pictures and happy quotes when really we were arguing, or I could tell RJ didn't want to be there anymore, or he was quiet around me. He wasn't his true self anymore around me. And same with me. I was starting to wear a mask. And it feels like you're breaking. It really does. It feels like you're breaking, you're invisible. There were countless times I felt invisible. Um, Countless times I felt discouraged and I just wanted to leave. And at one point, I almost did. I literally just grabbed the keys and I almost walked out the door. And I said, I'm done. So I reached out to a therapist, and let's say it was September. Her assistant said she didn't have any openings until November. So I said, fine. I get a call like 10 minutes later from the actual therapist. And I'm like, hey, I just scheduled an appointment. She's like, yeah, tell me what's going on. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to divorce my husband. I'm sick of being a stepmom. I can't do it anymore. My stepkid is acting out. Just, I was tired.
Mhm.
And, she was like, how old is he? At this time, he was about 8. And I told her his age. And she said, Tammy, um, he's 8 years old. He doesn't know what a stepmom is. To him, you are his father's wife.
Mhm.
I said, okay. I said, well, I'll see you in November. She said, no, see me next week. You'll probably be divorced by then. I said, okay. And I went in for weekly sessions, and, you know, it was liberating, much. That's why I'm a huge advocate for therapy. Huge advocate. Um, working with her and praying and journaling and meditating. There were days I couldn't even pray for myself, but Reggie prayed for me. He went to counseling. RJ went to counseling. We were really trying to rebuild our foundation as a blended family. And slowly but surely it worked. It did.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I also am a huge advocate for therapy. My
yes.
therapist has saved my life, like
Mhm.
genuinely. Um,
Right.
and this, I feel like the stigma is getting better, but there are so many people who are so resistant to therapy. Uh,
Yes.
and I understand, it can take a while to find a therapist that you really click with. It sounds like you were fortunate enough to find one who you click
Yes.
with right off the bat.
Hmm.
Um, but to have like the buy-in of your whole family, your husband to go to counseling, your stepson to go to counseling, everybody was
Hmm.
willing to do the work. Everyone was willing to do things differently. And
Yes.
that's something I hear so often from stepmoms is, I don't know how to be a stepmom. I
Hmm.
I don't know how to do this. Therefore, I'm failing at it. Therefore, we're going to have to go our own
Right.
separate ways. But none
Hmm.
of us know how to be stepmoms.
None. I try to tell my stepmom friends there is no stepmom manual. If there is, send me a copy. But it's it's not, and because it couldn't be. There are dynamics are different. You're dealing with people with different personalities, different traumas, different triggers. Um, I'm blessed to not have situations with um, RJ's mom. We're actually cordial towards each other. And I know some stepmoms are not fortunate to have that type of relationship with the mother of their stepchildren. Some of the stories I hear, they are terrifying and just unbelievable. I feel like we're women. We should be uplifting each other regardless if you're bio mom, stepmom, bonus mom, god mom, and I'm really fortunate and happy and proud of me and her for working on creating some type of bond. Because at the end of the day, we're humans doing the best we can. And we want to make sure that we parent RJ, we raise him. So it's a journey, the stepmom stuff.
Mhm. But yeah, but it's, I feel like there's a point in time where, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but
Mhm.
I've laid awake like wishing for a scenario like you're living right now. And there's like a point in time where that seems like a pipe dream. Like that's never going to happen. This is such a
Yeah.
dark place right now. The only option is to get a divorce. And we wish
Mhm.
and we hope and we pray to get to this place where we have a cordial co-parenting relationship and we can receive
Right.
our stepkids to be the people that they are without feeling the need to change them, and
Right.
everyone can accept the place that they have in each other's lives.
Hmm.
But we can't just wish for it, right? We can't
Right.
just say, I want that to happen and then keep doing everything the same way. And
Right.
this is exactly the case in point is that everyone in your family did the work, period.
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
willing to do things differently. Change is scary, change is hard, going to therapy is uncomfortable, bearing your soul
Most definitely.
hurts,
Yes.
taking responsibility for your role in the drama sucks.
Yes. Accountability. Account-
Accountability. But like
yes.
you said, it's so liberating. Therapy is so liberating for
Yes.
those reasons. Yeah.
Yes.
And then where did stepmom goals start in the mix of all of this?
Just finding myself ever since my sorority sister told me that your stepmommy goals, those words just kept ringing in my head. Because that saying, your relationship goals, money goals, wife goals. And I'm like, I'm stepmom goals. And stepmom goals isn't about perfection. Um, in general, we can never be perfect, but there is no perfect stepmom. Even when people try to tell me, "Oh my God, no," you just see what I want you to see. You don't see, you see the story, not the, you see the glory, not the story. You didn't see the tears I had before we pulled up to your house, and thank God for concealer. But um, just wanting to put myself out there, not just as a stepmom, but as a woman who's just trying to live out her true purpose. And I had to really admit it to myself. Being a stepmom is part of my purpose. And as much as I tried to run away from it, I couldn't. And even RJ and I had to have a talk. Because at one point he started doing the things. He wasn't like disrespectful or anything, but just doing the little things around the house to show like, I don't want to be here. So him and I had a conversation, and I let him know I'm not trying to be your mom. I will never be your mom. I don't want to be your mom. I am Tammy, and I want you in my life, and I hope that you want me in yours. I'm here to help guide you and help raise you along with your mother and father and other family members. And I don't know what happened, but it clicked, and he felt so much, I would just say, better.
Mm-hmm.
He started expressing himself more. And, I'm always asking him, how are you feeling? I'm always asking because I know boys in general try not to talk about their feelings. They try to conceal it all, but I want him to know you can talk to me. You know, I I'm I know I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad, but I am an adult who do care for you, and I am responsible for you. And I want to make sure that you move in your life with purpose. So we develop a stronger bond. And even with therapy, I think the therapist helped him. Um, and me being more involved with his passions. He loves to draw, he loves to cook. So I've been trying to make sure that our bond is built along the things that he likes to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fun. Sometimes we had days where I'm like, oh, really? RJ? Which I'm sure some days he look at me like, Mama T, really? Which is fair. We all do it. But stepmom goals grew from a place of hurt, but yet encouragement. And even he's supportive of stepmom goals. He loves what I'm doing. His mom knows about stepmom goals. She's read some of the material. My husband is completely supportive. So I think that helped too, bring stepmom goals from the ground up. Just that loving support within our own unit.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And
Thank
I
you.
I want to acknowledge how vulnerable of a space it must have been to have that conversation with your stepson. That
Yes.
the thought of like having conversations like that with putting essentially you're like bearing your heart, right? You're making it very easy to be rejected, very easy to for him to be like, F you, I don't want you, you're not anything to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Exactly.
But this just goes to show that we can't grow closer in our relationships if we don't risk being vulnerable with each other.
Yes.
And it's scary, but it's so brave, right? And
Yes.
and this is what gets to come of that. And I love where stepmom goals came from, because you're right, there is mommy goals and wife goals. There's even like dog mom goals.
Yep. It
But
is.
and cat mom goals and gardener, like there's every kind of goals.
Yes.
You're right, except stepmom goals.
Yeah.
And so I love that you're trying to change the narrative about what it means to be a stepmom. Like
Yes.
we we do one of the hardest jobs that there is to do. We
Absolutely.
take on one
Yes.
of the hardest roles. We've got to grow, we've got to
Yes.
heal, we've got to navigate stuff that's complex, even when it's easy. But
Yes.
there's still this, like, we should just stuff stepmom in the corner and not advertise that we're stepmoms, not be proud that we're stepmoms.
Hmm.
And I don't know why. I don't know why we need to have that thought process around it, because we're
Right.
freaking awesome. Stepmoms are so awesome.
Yes. I'm proud to be a stepmom, and I agree with you. It is hard. It is hard. Um, but somehow I find strength from our family love. And I try to remind my stepmom friends, a blended family is like a crock pot. We're not microwave. Even though it felt like it maybe, wedding day. I do, okay, you're instantly mommy now. But no, spiritually, emotionally, it takes time. It
Mm,
takes time. Like I stated earlier, there's a mixture of so many different personalities. Your child is still growing, you know, they're learning their what's going on, and they're still healing from the heartbreak of mommy and daddy. Um, which sometimes I had to remind myself of that RJ is still healing from that heartbrokenness. Yet he is open minded to having me in his life. He even told me, like, why can't we all live in a house
mhm.
together? He actually told me that. And I said, oh, maybe one day.
Uh,
Day. But it was just that innocence.
mhm.
It was precious at that. It was priceless
Mm,
to know that he wanted us to be as one unit. And
absolutely.
we are.
Absolutely.
We are.
And in his
Mhm.
mind, it's where everyone's one family.
Right.
It's funny. My stepson said the same. He asked the same thing maybe a couple of years ago. He said, "Can't my mom just like move into the basement or something?" And my husband and I laugh, right? But the same intention, the same pure place. Like, I want everybody I love to be under one roof,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. My husband
So
said, I don't think she would like that very much, very much, but it was a cool thought. Maybe
he
one
tried.
he tried. Yeah, maybe one day. I love.
Yes.
I've got to ask Tammy, just because you have just such a beautiful, wise, healed outlook on step families, and I love to hear it. If you could go back in time and tell 8 years ago, Tammy, a piece of
Mhm.
advice, what would you tell her? What would you say to yourself 8 years ago?
That's an interesting question. I would tell myself 8 years ago, you are not your mistakes.
So good.
Yeah. Because I'm the type of person, and I'm still working on this with my therapist currently. I just hold things against myself, and I replay scenarios over and over. Oh, I could have did this. I could have did that. I could have said this. Should have said that. you're learning. We're all learning. So I definitely would tell her, you are not your mistakes. It's okay.
Mm.
It's okay. It's simple as that. And nothing more. You're going to make mistakes. I think I make a mistake every day. I think we all do. But the stepmom journey, it feels like it's more exposed because we feel like everyone's watching us and people are not. As long as the child's happy and healthy, people don't care. They don't, you know. All our families are blended. That's the crazy part. We're all blended. But I also understand the feelings of being under a microscope, especially with social media
Mhm.
and the comparison thing. I don't like that. Comparing yourself to bio mom, even to husband, those feelings may come up too, jealousy. We juggle a lot of emotions.
Mhm.
A lot a lot of emotions. Um, but for sure, reminding myself I am not my mistakes, definitely is an affirmation I repeat every day.
So
Mhm.
good. So simple, but so powerful.
Yes,
Every person makes mistakes, but that doesn't
everyone.
define you. 100%. So good.
Hmm.
Is there
Yes.
anything else, Tammy, that you would like to share with our audience? Any words of wisdom, words of encouragement?
Hmm. Um, let's see. Well, one, if you are a stepmom already, you are stepmom goals. If you are a stepmom to be, you are already stepmom goals. You don't need the ring or the wedding. You already are. You are stepmom goals if you believe you are. And I'll just say this, there will be days you may feel like you're not, and that's okay. It's okay to tilt your crown. Don't take it off, but tilt it. I'm not feeling it today. And that's something I'm learning as a stepmom too. It's okay to step back
Mm.
and stop trying to juggle it all. I remember my therapist told me, when you feel like you can't commit, just say, okay, God, your turn. I give it to you. I'm about to go bake this pie real quick. You got it? Step back. It's okay to take steps back, step forward, step to the side, a little step, big step, a twirl. Is all up to you because you're in control of how you feel. Um, Also, I would remind stepmoms to remember you are your husband's helpmate and not his coach. I
Mm.
had to learn that myself because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'm a know it all sometimes. And I don't even have a step parent. And it's like, yo, Tammy, chill out. At the end of the day, your husband's learning too, and your stepchildren's mother is learning. Everyone's learning. There is no step blended family manual. There's no manual for a mother who now has to deal with another woman in her child's life. That's a lot. That's hard. And now that I'm a mother of a toddler, I can see where those feelings come. Like, this is my baby.
Mhm.
So sometimes we do have to do the heart check and just remember to be human.
Mhm.
That's it. Be human. Prayer, affirmations are your best friend. And get a stepmom bestie. Mine is Adeline. She's in New Jersey. Fun fact, we never met in real life, but we talk every single day, on the phone, Duo, FaceTime, Facebook. Find that stepmom bestie that you trust. If you can't find a therapist, because I know sometimes that could be a journey too, finding the right one, find someone who you trust in. Sometimes husband Yeah.
He's not the right audience sometimes.
Sometimes they try, but get you a stepmom bestie.
I I always say friends don't let friends stepmom alone. We don't. We
Yes.
have to. We need a community.
Right.
We need other stepmoms who get it, who are on
Yes.
the path to also healing, trying to do better, right? Like it's easy to get sucked
Yes.
into the negative and the throwing shit and the blaming. But it's
Yes.
friends don't let friends stepmom alone. And
Right.
we've got to have each other's backs, and we've got to encourage, like once the anger is out, we've got to encourage the next step forward, right?
Exactly.
That's a supportive friend, is someone who wants to see you get out of that. So how
Yes.
neat is that?
Exactly.
I haven't met basically any of my stepmom besties either, but there's such a special bond, isn't there?
Yes. Yes. Especially on Instagram, the stepmom community is amazing. I love it. I'm so proud to be part of it. It's so encouraging. It's like we're all saying the same thing, but with different flavors. And I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I love it too. Tammy, if people want to connect with you, check you out, stalk you, buy a Stepmom Goals t-shirt, where is the best place to find you?
Yes. Well, on Facebook, Stepmom Goals. Instagram, I have the little underscore stepmom goals underscore. Had to be fancy, I guess. I'm also on Twitter, stepmom goals. On Amazon, if you type in stepmom goals, you'll see a pretty black shirt with white letters that says stepmom goals. I'm also working on my first children's book, Mama T and Me. Yes. Oh yeah, fun fact, RJ calls me Mama T. It was Mama Tam, and then one day he changed it to Mama T because it sounded cooler. I call him Mr. Engineer, and Tori is Tori Toes in the house. And I should be releasing a stepmom affirmation journal as well.
So excited to see all of this. I'm so excited about your book.
Thank you.
Such an inspiration. You're such a ray of sunshine. You're just
you too. I love your energy.
I'll make sure to link all of Tammy's goodies up in the show notes for you so you can check out Stepmom Goals. And thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your wisdom with stepmoms from all over the world.
Yes. Thank you.
I hope this episode got your wheels turning and showed you just how powerful you are. I would invite you to take 30 seconds and tap subscribe to this podcast. When you subscribe to the podcast, then rest assured you will never miss an episode. And in no time, spinning your wheels will be a thing of the past. Thank you for listening and subscribing. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if after you subscribed, you jumped on over and left me a 5-star review, and better yet, a written review. I am on a mission to let every mom and stepmom know that you can create the life of your dreams. And I need your help to change the world. The world needs us. Thank you so much for subscribing and leaving me a 5-star review. I will see you next week. For more behind the scenes action and to get really up close and personal with me and our beautiful step family, jump on over to Instagram and follow me at The Step Queen. Don't be shy, send me a DM, tag me in your posts, tag me in your stories, let me know what you're up to and what about the podcast has been blowing your mind. I cannot wait to get to know you better, and Instagram is my jam. I love you so much. I love you so much. Make it rain, girlfriend.